A few years ago, I made several short videos for my students, introducing them to interviews. I recently combined these two videos and added subtitles so that more students could understand and follow the techniques that I talk about. Part 1 talks about general techniques of the interview process and gives a short, humorous example. Part 2 talks about a technique called echo questions and also gives an example. I hope you enjoy these videos. I want to talk to you today about the interview. No matter what language you're speaking, interviewing and getting interviewed are critical conversations. In an interview, there are questions and answers just like in a regular conversation, but they are one-sided, meaning only one person is asking and the other responding. This gives almost complete control to the interviewer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Luther Hernandez. Good morning, Luther. Good morning, Peter. Luther is the author of a new book titled, "If I Had $1 for Everyone That Called Me a Loser, I'd Be Rich and Not a Loser Anymore." The story of his life as one of those people who tries to clean your windows when you're at a stoplight. So, Luther, you're a bum, is that right?
That is correct, Peter. I have been living on the street practically my whole life.
But you don't look like a bum anymore. Have you cleaned up your act?
Oh yes. My book has already sold 1 million copies. I still live in a box, but I got me a more expensive refrigerator box, and I put it right on 5th Avenue. I got me a porter that opened the door for me, too.
Well, I must say that I'm very happy for the success of your book. What made you decide to write it?
Well, I was cleaning Volkswagen's windshield one day. I looked down at the rag I was using to clean, and I said to myself, I could do it. I could write a book about my job, maybe inspire young people to a life of rubbing grimy windshield. It was like that. It was very sudden.
Okay, we could go on with this, but I just wanted you to get an idea of what we'll be doing the next time in the advanced class, which is working on interviews. And thanks, Luther, for coming down and helping us out today.
Always happy to help out a friend.
Oh, and by the way, can I borrow your Lamborghini tonight? I've got a hot date with a nurse.
Sure enough. Just drop by the house and pick up the keys from the butler. He'll be on duty all day.
Thank you, Luther. And thank you for listening. Hello and welcome to part 2 of my interview series. My name is Peter, and this is a coffee shop where I like to hang out. Hi there, Noemi. Hi, Peter. In part 1 of this series, I mentioned the importance of interviews and showed by a short example how the interviewer has almost complete control over the interview. Today we will cover a question technique called the echo question. The echo question is simply that. It's a device to keep the subject talking by simply repeating back a keyword from what the person just said. Because the echo question is so neutral in itself, it forces the other person to elaborate on what he just said. It's a very powerful and simple to use technique. So here is an example of the echo technique. Hello and welcome to another edition of Talking to Dead People. My name is Peter, and today I'm going to talk to Hamlet, dead prince of Denmark. How are you today, Hamlet?
I'm just fine, Peter, thank you, considering I'm still dead.
Hamlet, we've all read the Shakespeare play named after you. My question is, did it all really happen that way?
Oh, no, 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 no. He got it completely wrong. Completely wrong? Yes, that nonsense about my uncle killing my father. My uncle couldn't hurt a fly.
So, how did your father die?
Well, truth be told, he died on the toilet, just like Elvis.
On the toilet?
Yes, in those days people were always dying on the toilet. It was dangerous. The toilets were outside. You might get followed by a wolf or a hungry rabbit or even a crazed weasel. Then you sit down out there, your parents are down around your ankles, and you're vulnerable. You get attacked.
Well, that's quite a shocking revelation. What about the rest of the story? The rest of the characters? Ophelia, what about your girlfriend Ophelia?
Oh, that nutcase?
Oh, she really was crazy then.
Zoons, she was always crazy. Her real name was Opie. She was a he.
Ophelia was a man?
Of course. Why do you think I was always trying to get her off my back? He was a pain in the ass.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for coming, Hamlet. It was a real eye-opener.
Thanks for having me. It's not often I get to talk to someone from beyond the grave.
And thank you all for watching Talking to Dead People. Next week, we'll be talking to George Bush, who's not quite dead yet, but why wait? Thanks again, and good night. Now that you have seen some examples of interviews and techniques for interviewers, we are going to try some interviews in class. Here are some guidelines for doing this exercise. Number 1, write down or think of a famous but fictional person and a famous event in their lives. 2, listening is essential for a good interview. Try to ask questions that flow logically, taking into account that the person who is responding may make your interview go off on a different tack. 3, use echo questions to get people to elaborate on things that might be interesting to the audience. 4, keep it clean. Once you start insulting someone or using inappropriate language, the interview will degenerate. 5, the person getting interviewed should always answer as fully and elaborately as possible. 6, never say no. No stops the action. And finally, if you ask a funny question, don't laugh at your own jokes. Humor comes from being completely serious. I hope you enjoy this exercise.